a pro day go?
Yeah, it was definitely a good day, not just for me, but, a lot of my teammates. It was really nice, being out there with, 9 or 10 other guys that, I played with next to for the last 2 to 3 years. So being out there with all those guys, it was super fun to get out there and compete and have fun. Personally, I think I tested pretty well. Some things I exceeded my standards, some things, I could have done a little bit better, but overall, I'm very happy with my times and my results.
Feedback wise, anything you're going to be working on from now until all of this progresses up to the draft and everything else?
Yeah, I definitely talked to a few coaches, a few scouts after we were done doing all the drills, and they just really emphasize, you can't ever be flexible enough, especially at the edge position that I play. Always work on your bend, always keep it nice and sharp and crisp, and always stay flexible. So that's the main thing, I'm definitely going to hone in on and focus on, these next 2 to 3 months until the draft, and just always try to improve on those things, always keep those things nice and sharp.
And lastly, just is that what makes pro day invaluable, to get to see where you fit in, to see the feedback you get and where you have to go from now until then?
Yeah, definitely. Everything's important. Everyone has expectations on, what you should run, how high you should jump, how well you should move in the drills. But, overall, I think I did really well. Like I said, some things I exceeded my standards, some things, I could have done a little bit better, but overall, I'm definitely very happy. And I think I did really well in my position work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go next to Sully Ingalls.
Yo, Wyatt. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good, dude. Thanks. Looking just at your Twitter right now, you quote tweeted Jim Nagy about 7 hours ago, and he said one of the most underrated prospects in the 21 draft. And I think that's fairly, a good way to describe it, because you're just dominant on the field all the time. Even if the numbers don't show it always. Can you talk a little bit about that and just that mindset you're taking going into the draft and training for it?
Yeah, definitely. I don't have the length that, guys want out of a defensive end or outside backer. Every single player has their own type of limitation, whether it's length, height, speed. But, I definitely have a lot of things that a lot of other players don't have. My football IQ, my knowledge of the game, something that, exceeds a lot of players, a lot of guys in this draft class, just how smart I am on the field, how many different positions I've played, and how experienced I am at multiple different positions. So that's the main thing that sets me apart, being able to play a lot of different positions and communicate and know my role at many different positions. So that's one thing that sets me apart. And, like I said, every other player has their limitations as well. So, going into this whole draft process and, continuing within the next 2 to 3 months and getting ready for the draft, I definitely have a chip on my shoulder. Definitely want to be the best player I can be and exceed myself past the other edge rushers in this draft class.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. And also just your preparation for the draft. I know a couple years ago, Dalton went out to California, Dalton Reisner, kind of got that ready. Do you have a plan? Like, are you going to head out that way, bring the guitar, hang out, and kind of just get ready?
Yeah, my plan right now is, definitely stick around in Manhattan, stay in shape here. I might head down to Atlanta for, 2 to 3 weeks and work with Chuck Smith on my pass rush. Like I said, previously always working on my bend and my flexibility. That's something that's very, very focused and honed in with him, and something that he's, one of the masters as, keeping you flexible, keeping your bend as an edge rusher, and definitely always improving your pass rush. So I'll definitely head down to Atlanta for a few weeks and work with him and definitely get ready for rookie mini camp and OTAs.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Let's go next to Kellis Robinette.
Hey, Wyatt, what would you say your expectations are so far for the draft? Is there any special feedback you got that makes you think you know where you might land yet, or what round you might go in?
Yeah, well, you definitely get a lot of feedback. A lot of guys shoot you straight. A lot of guys, tell you things that may not be true. So there's a lot of things you can believe, but a lot of things you shouldn't believe. Honestly, I really try not to focus whole on that. It's just going to be a blessing no matter what round I get, I'll be able to go in. Some say, 2 to 3, some say 3 to 4 or 5, it's a wide, variety of projections on where I'll land. And like I said, the earlier is definitely the better, no doubt about it. But I'm definitely gonna be very blessed and fortunate no matter what round I end up going in. But obviously, the goal is just keep working hard, keep impressing scouts and coaches, and try to go as high as possible.
Is there any one thing you really wanted to show the scouts today that you were good at and impress them with?
Yeah, one thing, that's always been, a specialty of mine is how quick I am laterally. So definitely I wanted to go out there and prove myself. prove to them, how quick I was in my short shuttle and my L drill. And I think I ran a very well times on both of those drills. Just because, lateral quickness is so important, especially as an edge rusher and as a defensive lineman. So I went out there and definitely exceeded my standards on those two drills.
Cool. Thanks, Wyatt.
Thank you.
Let's go next to Mark Lane.
Who's your agent and what gym have you been training at specifically? And then also, is there anybody in the NFL, past or present, that you try to model your game after, or just say they do a good job, I'd like to add it to my game? Thank you.
Yep. Well, my agent is Mitchell Moore Jr. and Pat Dye Jr. They're both with Sports Trust Advisors out of Buckhead, Georgia. A very good agency. I'm definitely glad and fortunate that I picked them. They've been super helpful, super top-notch agency that's very on top of their game. The past 2.5, 3 months, I've been training at the Exos facility in Pensacola, Florida. I'm glad I went there. It was top-notch coaching, some of the best coaching I've ever received, especially for pre-draft training and combine training. And then, some players I model my game after, current and former. There's a lot of players I look after. Growing up, my favorite players was Clay Matthews. Just the way he played, similar statures between me and him, same height and weight. But some current players, playing right now that I definitely model my game after is edge rushers like, Trey Hendrickson with the Saints, Chase Winovich with the Patriots, just outside linebacker guys, type of edge guys that, play with a high motor and are very productive on the field.
Let's go to Samuel Rodriguez.
All right. So how do you feel the strengths you already have are going to help you excel in the NFL?
Definitely. Yeah. Well, the strengths I have, I'm very laterally quick, like I mentioned earlier. Being an edge rusher, the 40 is important. You need to be fast. You need to be fast off the ball. It's definitely not as important as, how laterally quick you are. And those are two things that I'm very, very well at. My hand usage is very well. I went through a lot of pass rush drills today. My footwork was very well. I did well in those drills as well. And then, even doing a little outside backer drops as well. We had a lot of experience of that at Kansas State in our playbook for sure, in our scheme. So I've done a lot of things that'll transition into the NFL that I've been doing a long time here at Kansas State. So that's definitely going to be very helpful in the future.
And then do you have any words of advice for the younger generation trying to go on this journey to get to the league?
Definitely, the main thing, going through this whole process, going through, interview training at Exos, going through the Senior Bowl and all those interviews with all those scouts and coaches. Then, being here, the biggest advice I have for college players, going into that want to play in the NFL in the future years is, what you do, what you choose to do off the field and the decisions you make off the field are just as important on what you do on the field. If you're a good person, you take care of business both on and off the field, you're definitely going to raise your stock and you're going to be that much more attractive to teams versus, if you're getting in trouble, if you're making bad decisions off the field, that's definitely going to hurt you in a lot of ways. And because coaches, they don't want to deal with the immature type of guy. They don't want to deal with outside problems. They want to deal with a professional. This is a professional business. It's a professional football league. So if you can be a professional on the field and off the field, that will definitely help you out in the future.
All right. Thank you.
Let's go to Tyler Jeffries.
Hey, Wyatt, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, I just want to say congratulations on, the upcoming week. You're about to get drafted in a few weeks. And I just want to know how you're feeling and where your mindset is right now. And also, you have a lot of accolades that you've been doing. You had 13 tackles for a loss this year and you had 8.5 sacks, both career highs for you. Are you going to keep that momentum? What are you going to do to keep that momentum going forward, going into, a pros league and, keep you motivated for how explosive you are as a player?
Definitely. Like I said, there's a lot of things I did in college that are definitely going to translate into the NFL. So that's one thing I'm super blessed and fortunate that we did here at Kansas State. We ran a very NFL style type of defense. And even though we ran a 4-2-5 defense here at Kansas State, the two defensive ends on the edges here at Kansas State were definitely hybrid type of DNs, outside linebacker type of DNs. And that's what I'll most likely be playing, at the next level is outside backer. So, a lot of similarities from college to NFL will definitely be a transition for sure. The biggest thing I'm looking forward to, once I get, on a team and, with the veterans on the team is definitely, one thing that I love to do with football, no matter how successful, how many accolades I have, is definitely always keep improving and keep learning. Being in the NFL, there's definitely going to be a lot of different ways to watch film, how to watch film, how to study NFL pro style type of offenses. And that's the main thing I'm looking forward to, is sitting down with those vets and, learning from them and them teaching me certain things about the NFL, what to do, what not to do. Just always expanding my knowledge on the NFL game.
Let's go next to Herb BTOP.
Hey, Wyatt, thanks for taking the time here to chat with us. A couple of questions here for you. What do you think, the first one, what do you think is your biggest regret from not being able to compete in Indianapolis because there was no actual combine this year and you were invited?
Yeah, it definitely sucked, not being able to go to Indianapolis and competing with, a bunch of the top 300, best players in college football. Being in the edge group, there was a lot of, this is a very strong class with the edge guys, a lot of very talented guys. I actually trained with a lot of top-notch edge guys, and that pushed me and made me better. But, the biggest regret, is definitely, just being in Indianapolis, and especially being a guy who was invited, definitely sucks, not being able to go there and performing at one of the biggest stages, one of the biggest job interviews of your life. So, it sucked for sure, but, the 300 other guys who got invited as well, weren't able to experience that just like me. So that's why Pro Day and the Senior Bowl was so important for me, just to go out there and showcase my skills and just definitely do the best of my ability at those 2 days for sure.
And then two quick follow-up questions here. You mentioned your hybrid role at K-State. From the teams that you've talked to so far, you get the sense that maybe the 3-4 alignment is what they're looking at you for at the next level?
Yeah, I'll definitely be playing, outside backer type of position. Certain teams, I say that, but the main teams I've been talking to, definitely I'd be an outside backer. I may be a little undersized, as a true 4-3 hand down defensive end, hand in the dirt type of guy. But, I did that at Kansas State, so I've experienced with that. And that's what makes me so versatile. I can do that. And I could play outside backer with all the dropping experience and man-to-man coverage experience that we had here at Kansas State. Like I said, the defense we ran here at Kansas State was so similar to NFL, style type of defense. So that's just one thing I'm super blessed and fortunate to have done here at Kansas State.
And my final question, I have to ask this because it's an obligatory question for me. I covered the Chiefs for the Kansas City Star. Have you had any conversations with the Chiefs? And what would it mean to you as a Kansas kid if you were to stay local and play at Arrowhead?
Yeah, I've had 2 conversations so far with the Chiefs. I have another one, I believe, this Friday. So, playing at Kansas City, that'd be super awesome a super awesome place to be at, especially how successful they are right now. And they're definitely going to be successful, the next years down the road for sure. With Coach Reed being there, being an awesome coach, and, teams with, such a good quarterback like Mahomes. He's a great player, and having a good quarterback on a team usually means success. So, and even, with the defensive ends and the whole defense at Kansas City, playing there would be truly an awesome experience, being underneath guys like Frank Clark. That'd be so awesome to learn from a vet like him. So, I'm definitely gonna be fortunate and blessed wherever I end up going. But, the Chiefs would be awesome as well, just because I grew up an hour from the Chiefs, and that'd be a super awesome experience.
Go last to Paul Gant.
Wyatt, how are you, sir?
Dude, good. How are you doing?
Doing well. So when did you realize that you could play in the NFL, that you had the ability, the skills to play in the NFL? Did it happen this season? Did it happen? When did that happen for you?
Yeah, growing up and, going through high school and college, football was always my number one passion. I always loved football. I always loved going out there and competing. Being in the team environment was something I always loved, being a leader and stepping up and leading other guys to be successful. But at Kansas State, I really, started to believe in myself that I could play at the next level after my redshirt freshman year. I started 8 of the 12 games as a redshirt freshman. I got freshman All-American, and that was definitely a big boost of confidence that I had. It really raised my eyebrows and really gave me that confidence and, self-confidence in myself that, if I, take these next 2 or 3 years seriously and ball out and just increase my stats and increase my leadership and my, my overall football skills every single year, I'll definitely have a chance. Sitting here now and accomplishing, small goals every single step by a time. Definitely here. And, I've been preparing and training so hard. I know, just like anyone else, getting ready for this whole thing. Definitely trying to impress the teams, physically and mentally in the, in the classroom. But, definitely, I always believed myself, always knew I could do it. Now I just got to go out there once I'm on a team and just show out in the NFL.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Sneak one more in here, Griffin Floyd.
Hey Wyatt, so you said that you're looking at playing 3-4 defensive end in the NFL. What teams have you talked to in that respect so far?
Yeah, so a lot of the teams I've talked to, that was every time they, a lot of the teams in NFL, they would always ask, well, why do you have any questions for us? And one question I always asked, do you guys run a 3-4 defense, a 4-3? What's your defensive line, fronts and schemes like? And it seems like most of the teams, say we run both 4-3 and 3-4. So every team, every defense runs a little bit of everything. But some of the teams that really run a true, 3-4, teams like the Cardinals, the Bengals, those are two big teams I've been talking to, especially two teams that I'd be playing outside backer for. But then a few teams I've been talking to that run, true 4-3s with a hand in the dirt type of defensive end. There's a lot of teams like that as well. But like I say, being at Kansas State and, playing a mixture of both the 3-4 and a 4-3 defensive end with hand in the ground, very experienced at both positions. So I'm definitely, thankful for that.